everyone. Here I am in the car again. This time it's not dark, it's daytime. And it is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. And I am actually en route to drive up to the San Ynez Valley to dog sit for my friends through Sunday, which, as you know, is always a good thing for me to be out in the country with animals. And the good news is that today I feel physically good, knock on wood. I swear every day is an adventure, and we never really know what each day will bring. But so that's why you gotta grab onto the ones where you're like, oh, I feel pretty good. Now, as you probably, I don't know if you've read any of my updates or GoFundMe or whatever, the last month I've had on and off abdominal discomfort, more so than usual. And, of course, every time something like that happens, it triggers total fear. How can it not? And as you might have known, I was supposed to have a PET scan this morning, but they called early this morning to cancel because they didn't have the dose from the pharmacy or whatever they needed. So they said, oh, we can do it this afternoon. And I'm like, I can't. I have a commitment up in San Ynez. So, and I've been waiting to, they're going to change up my treatment, I think, because, my cancer marker was rising again. The last 2 times it's been taken, it gets drawn once a month. So, with my abdominal discomfort, which is hard to describe, sometimes it just feels like distension. Other times it just feels very crampy. Sometimes it just feels, it's always kind of tight, to a certain degree, but sometimes it's tighter than usual, where it's just like, ugh. It obviously constantly brings my attention there, and so it's either tight or it's always numb to a certain degree. But it's just, there are no words really. But obviously when I feel that stuff in my abdomen, it just, but today I feel good. Sunday I felt good. Yesterday I didn't feel so good. I'm also looking at my eating and how that affects it. So I'm starting to kind of make some correlations, but I can't comment on that just yet. But it's just interesting. I mean, I'm constantly observing my body and tuning into it, and I do feel, as I have felt from day one of my diagnosis, that this cancer is mainly emotionally based. Some deep rooted emotional layers. It doesn't matter who we are. I would like to think of myself, I've been on, quote unquote, the spiritual journey basically my entire life, but it really kicked in when I was a teenager. And I just read everything. I wanted to read everything spiritual in nature, religions, faiths, philosophies, because also, I'm an intuitive myself, and from little on I could feel and sense things, and it's just been the nature of my being. And as you know, my life has, because I've always kept an open mind and heart, I feel like my life has been very magical and miraculous in many ways. But So from day one of my diagnosis, I felt like this cancer was emotional. And like I was saying, we all, no matter how evolved or aware or enlightened we think we are, there's always some stuckness, stuck emotional stuff. We've all in our childhoods have, been wounded on some level. Not saying anything about parents or anything, but we're humans. And our journey here is, I believe, is just about walking this planet in each moment with awareness and an openness to look at ourselves. Who are we being with each circumstance that comes up? We get to learn a lot about ourselves when we observe our reactions, the emotions, the feelings that come up, the thoughts that come up. I mean, that's what I've been using this journey for. And again, my spiritual faith is that nothing crosses our soul's path without our soul's permission. And as hard as this cancer journey has been, this dance with cancer, as I choose to call it, because it is a dance, no matter how hard it's been, I cannot argue with the amount of gifts and emotional healing and spiritual healing that it has brought to me. And that's why I need to I don't need to, but probably will write a book about it, because what I'm sharing here with the updates is just really the surface, scratching the surface of truly the depths of emotional layers being peeled off, of stuckness, where we got wounded along the way. And it could be like a teacher that we had or a coach that we had that somehow stunted us, or because as children, as teenagers, we're very impressionable. And when we have somebody, an authority figure, parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, whoever, being bullied, all of that, we're such wide open beings. We're vulnerable beings. We're born into this world vulnerable as it gets. We become we're like this Play-Doh and then as the years go on, with our conditioning and our experiences adding on, we add layers and layers and layers of energetic weight that suppresses us and dims our light. And it's weird because I remember I was always a very aware, like I said, I've been an intuitive my entire life. I didn't really know what that meant as a kid, of course, until I was older. But I was aware as a kid when I would observe, might be at my grandparents and we'd be having like a big family gathering at Christmas or whatever. By the way, happy holidays, everybody. And I'd hear my aunts and uncles and my grandparents reminiscing about their childhoods. I literally remember a distinct moment sitting at my Grandma Dorothy's kitchen table as everybody was, the adults were reminiscing and laughing and telling stories about their childhood. And I remember, I was probably like 12 years old, and I remember thinking, God, I'm so lucky. I am so lucky. They can only talk about their childhood. I'm still living it. I'm creating memories. I'm creating memories that I'm going to be talking about. And I am so lucky. They can only talk about it, but I'm living it. I was aware of it. And I did not, to be honest, I did not want to grow up. Like, seemed like my friends and everybody wanted to grow up because we thought being an adult was like where it's at. And I was like, for some reason, I was like, I don't think that's where it's at. You got to go to work. You got to pay bills. My job as a kid is just to play, have fun. So I was aware, and so I always said that our childhood is our homework assignment for the rest of our life. You know, it's like, okay, here you are, you're an adult now, here's your homework assignment. Go decipher your childhood and see how your patterns and your conditioning and your programs and your behaviors and your habits and your ways of thinking and your ways of reacting, see how that all developed from a very young age of just trying to, the ego part of ourselves is the part that tries to protect us from being hurt. And then when we are hurt, boom, the ego there puts that layer up, and then we take that layer of armor into our adult life, and we keep getting situations that trigger our emotional stuckness from the past. But we get triggered because we're supposed to deal with it. You know, my trauma therapist, Hazel, who's like phenomenal, she says, I don't want to hear about your story. I don't want to hear about the narrative, oh, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this. She's like, that doesn't heal. What heals is, how did you feel? Doesn't matter what the story is. What matters is, how did you feel? Because that's where we heal. And yeah, we can, intellectually and spiritually, and I've been guilty of this too. Okay, yeah, I see how and why. And, but as she says, unless you feel the feelings of what you felt when you were a child, in that moment when you got wounded in some way or whatever it is, and here's what we do. We don't want to feel that pain as an adult, so we continue to run away and run away and run away, and we distract ourselves, and this is how we get addicted to various things. It could be drugs, alcohol, it could be over-exercising, overachieving, overworking, there's shopping, being on social media. There's infinite ways of that we distract ourselves, overeating, from feeling the feelings that our soul is trying to push out because it wants to heal. It wants to heal. And we can only heal what we feel. And as Hazel says, no spiritual bypasses. Meaning, and she's called me on this too, because I'm so good at rationalizing. Well, I understand why so-and-so did this. They were hurt too. And she's like, yeah, they were. But that isn't honoring your little child inside that still lives inside, that is screaming, saying, I'm hurt, I'm this, I'm that, I'm feeling this. And she's like, and you can't heal unless you feel those things. Intellectualizing is not going to heal it. So there's been layers and layers and layers. And on some level, like I said, I don't believe anything crosses our soul's path without us giving permission. And that is my faith. And my human self, my human persona, my ego identity, which is that it's our ego identity is our persona, who we believe, who we identify ourselves as in this life. And trust me, this journey with this dance with cancer, it has stripped my ego to the core. Strip. Oh, you thought you were this? Strip. Oh, you thought you were this? Strip. Oh, you had these thoughts about this? Strip. Oh, you believed this? Strip. I mean, strip, strip, strip. You'd think I was in a strip club. Sometimes I crack myself up. Clearly, what's the quote? Those who can laugh at themselves will never cease to be amused. I've never had that problem. Amusing myself, that is. So, yeah. I mean, I've known that deep down, if I can get beyond my human persona, ego fear of cancer, of dying, which, I mean, has been the thing that has held up the mirror and said, you need to look at this. And you need to look at this, because all of these ways of thinking, feeling, behaving have veered you off the center of your soul, have misaligned your energy flow, this emotional stuckness is what blocks energy in our body, creating dis-ease of whatever kind. Our soul will try and get our attention because we came here to be the embodiment, what I believe, the embodiment of the divine expressing uniquely as us. Nobody else is us. And God, the divine, is expressing through us as us. And I firmly believe that we're here to let go of the layers, discover the layers, feel the layers so that we can heal the layers. So we can free ourselves. What would it be like to really live in each moment present and take each moment for what it is without bringing all of the past into it, or taking the future and worrying about that and putting that on top of it, just weighing us down. Boom, boom, boom. This present moment becomes so clouded, so heavy, because we are, this is what I am. This is why I am grateful for this journey, as hard as it is to my human self. It's like, I know the gifts that have come, the layers of healing, of where I could see how that was weighing me down. And we get so used to carrying this heavy weight of this persona that we've created from our conditioning, from our experiences. We get so identified with this, who we think we are, that it doesn't allow us to really be free in this moment, because we're carrying all of our past and worrying about our future, that it all weighs this moment down. And so I firmly believe that Cancer has come to my door. Me personally, obviously, I'm not saying it is this for everybody, but everybody's got their challenge. Everybody's got their challenge, and it's not that life is wanting us to take us down. It's wanting to uplift us, but we have to use these sometimes painful, uncomfortable circumstances to finally dig deep, because when we're feeling pretty okay, we aren't really doing the deeper work. Even though I've always tried to be aware of myself and reflect, and that's all of my journal writing and everything has always been about self-reflection, about how's life mirroring back to me, what's it showing me. Well, Cancer's been the big old whew. Hey, hey, God. But I've been silently, when I've been in fear mode, silently I've heard my soul say, Lori Cancer say, I'm just here until you can really get to the core and feel these deep suppressed feelings that have been causing you to be stuck and weighing you down. And we just need to keep uncovering the layers. And so the part of me is like, can we just get through this and onward? And my deeper self, my soul, is saying, it's not about just getting through. It's about the reflection, the mirror reflection that we are taking, and the gifts that are allowing us to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves. So that's been my work. That's been my perspective. I flipped from human, fearful, wanting to control, to like deep peace about it. Like, this is you're fine, Lisa. You're fine. Yep. You've been knocked down. You keep getting up with the help of everybody. I've told you when I feel like I have had no more mental strength or physical strength, I lean into all of you. That's why I share. because I know my healing is everybody's healing. We're all helping each other to heal by acknowledging that we're all wounded, and that, you know, if we're constantly running away from our emotions, that weight just becomes bigger and bigger, and we don't even realize how it's affecting our life, our relationships with everybody, how we see ourselves, what we experience. Oh God, like I say, I just need to write a book. Oh, another book, yes. All right, so PET scan next Monday. Be dog sitting in the meantime. And each day is a day in and of itself. In and of itself. What if we just woke up every day and just was like, wow, it's a brand new day. What am I going to experience today? Challenges or joy? But it's all life. Oh God, when it's uncomfortable, we just want to run. I want to run. And the cancer has not allowed me to run. It's been like, I'm going to sit you down, so that we can look at all of this stuff, so that for the sake of healing and liberating your soul. Wow. Let's see. I'm feeling like, does anybody have any song requests? Wait, do you see where my Gemini mind goes? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Da 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 da, holiday cheer. I know. You know, I understand that the holidays are not holiday cheer for a lot of people. They're stress and overwhelmed, and I honor that. And in my last newsletter, I did a little presentation called Hijack to Healthy, the keys to mastering ourselves through the holidays and beyond. Every moment is an opportunity to master ourselves, to get in touch with ourselves. What are the feelings, without blaming, without this, just being curious as to who are we and what makes us tick and what drives the ship, and is that ship being driven into the wall, or is it being driven into the open sea to have infinite possibilities? Woo! All right, everybody, I love you. Thank you for listening. We never know where these updates are, but I just keep updating. All right. Big hugs. Thank you for your love, your support, and